Ian Robben loves to play against Manchester United. The reason is obvious. He scores against them all the time. He loves to play against United. I mean, I remember when this fixtures was made, Dim Nodi, Ian Robben said, yes, I love to play against United. And that's the reason.
At this time, it would have been last season or 2 seasons ago.
The last time he played against them, he scored 2 goals at the Old Trafford ground to help his team progress.
This is more or less, for both bookmakers, they already predicted
that was going to Bayern
one-way traffic, but United came out in their real element, but
and made a fight of it.
They fought, but their fight wasn't enough.
They made a fight of it, really. We should give United credit for fighting.
For scoring first.
Scoring first, and of course, Bayern produced 3 goals to win that game 3-1 and qualify 4-2 on goals aggregate. Let's talk about UEFA Champions League now and tell you that we are now down to the last 4 teams, the semi-finalists, of course, of the UEFA Champions League. And it's all about what will be happening tomorrow. In case you've been out of this world and you've not been tracking what has been going on in the UEFA Champions League, let's tell you those 4 teams that are left in the race for this year's UEFA Champions League trophy. 2 teams from Spain, 1 from England, 1 from Germany. Interestingly, the team from Germany are the defending champions. We have Real Madrid, we have Chelsea, we have Atletico Madrid, we have Bayern Munich. About this time tomorrow, Dumnodi, the draws would have been made, who plays who, and then how do we get to the final? By this time tomorrow, we should be having that.
There are no rules to this.
Anybody can draw.
Close your eyes and dip and pick.
So we could have Madrid against Madrid.
You could have Madrid against Madrid. You could have Chelsea against Bayern. We could have Madrid against Bayern. We could have Chelsea against Real Madrid.
Anybody can draw
anybody. But the beauty is that just only one team hasn't won the Champions League, and then the mix of it at the top of the La Liga.
Atletico Madrid. Let's talk about Atletico Madrid very quickly, briefly, Dumnodi. The unwritten rule in the UEFA Champions League in the last couple of years is that when you knock out Barcelona in the knockout phase, not group phase, when you beat them in the knockout phase, usually that team goes on to win the Champions League. Although most times it happens in the semi-finals. But this is the first time Barcelona have been knocked out in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. And usually when you knock them out, it looks like you have your hands on the trophy.
Well, but for
Chelsea did it, Man U did it, Bayern did it.
For Atletico Madrid, I think they punched above their weight. Nobody gave them a chance before this draws. Nobody should say anybody. It was their performance at the group phase that everybody began to look at this Atletico Madrid side. Even the La Liga, they were third. At one point, they came second. Now they're on top of the La Liga. And they're still holding on. So at this point, everybody is saying, oh, Atletico Madrid look like a team that will win. But you know, the beauty of the Champions League is that those who have the strongest pedigree in the Champions League are still in the semi-final. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Bayern, they are still in the midst of those
big
pedigrees. And you know, the
Bayern, of course, defending champions.
Defending champions. So the pedigrees you want to play. And if you look at the coaches, there are coaches who have big pedigrees in the Champions League for the 3 teams. Mourinho has won it before. Guardiola has won it before. Ancelotti has won it before.
Only Diego
has not won it before.
Hasn't won it before. But look at the way they played against Barcelona, Dumnodi. They were so convincing. They had plenty of chances. 1-0 at the end of 90 minutes is flattery for Barcelona. It should have been like 3-0 because they were hitting the bar. They hit the crossbar like 3 times in that game.
Well, you expect that sort of a result. The first leg, we saw what they were able to be. They were
scoring first,
playing content, and suddenly they came out first. They scored first. Barcelona equalized. That was what they needed, just to get the valuable point. Away go, come home, try to sit, play Barcelona.
And they scored early.
And they
scored early as the 5th minute.
And they were able to tight up, compose. And if you look at that team, maybe they know more of Barcelona than some of these other teams. Because you can see that even the La Liga, goalless draw, barren draw, it's not.
Barcelona hasn't beaten them this season, but Madrid has.
You expect that for a
them.
coach like Diego Simeone, he's going his job unabated. He doesn't talk too much. He doesn't give him to flippant talk. He does his job quietly. Look at the kind of players he has. Players very committed, play as a unit, and that is keeping the team going. But like I said, the Champions League is for the team with the biggest player, and they're still there. When you have a goat in the midst of lions.
So you think Atletico Madrid will be the goat? And Real,
like
Chelsea and Bayern
are
the lions?
The 3 other teams have won the Champions League before. The coaches and those other teams have won the Champions League as coaching before. The other ones have not won the Champions League before. The coaches have not won the Champions League. But
you think inexperience will come to play at the end of the day?
Unless the Madrid debut does not come up.
All right. Tell us what you feel. Dumnodi has given you his own opinion. He feels Atletico Madrid have done enough already. They've punched above their weight, and this is where it will end. What do you think? Talk to us on Twitter. Give us your own thoughts. Can Atletico Madrid, can they go all the way? The coach hasn't won it before. The team is pretty inexperienced. This says the big teams, that's Bayern, Chelsea, and Real Madrid, will swallow them up. What do you think? Talk to us on Twitter. We'll read your comments as we go along on the show. But let's also tell you that as we speak, games are going on in the Europa League. And that's just a step down from the UEFA Champions League. Let's just see if we can get you up to speed with the results coming through from Europa League games currently going on. And I can tell you that the results are very interesting results as well. Benfica, of course, from the first leg, they have an advantage 1-0. They are 1-0 up at home, so it's 2-0 on aggregate for Benfica. And that game is 63 minutes old. So Benfica are looking like they are home and dry. Juventus 1-1 against Lyon. They won the first leg 1-0 away from home. That's very dicey because if Lyon can get one more goal, they could be knocking out Juve on the away goals rule. But that's how it is at the moment, 1-1. As it stays, Juve are going through. Look at the other one. Sevilla have completely cancelled out the advantage that Porto came into this game with. 1-0 from the first leg. Sevilla have scored 3. They are now leading 3-1 on aggregate. And it looks like it's done and dusted. The Spanish team could be going through. And then the last one, the last fixture, of course, for the quarterfinals of the Europa League is Valencia against FC Basel. That game is 2-0 as we speak. And Basel won the first leg 3-0. So Valencia need to get more goals to either force this game into extra time, if they score one more goal, or to score 2 more and win it outright. But it's still dicey because it is 67 minutes of football played. And these are really, really difficult, tight games, very difficult games to call. And Dumnodi, the semi-final draws also tomorrow will be holding tomorrow. No rules.
No rules.
Sevilla can draw Valencia if they qualify. Anybody can play anybody.
And you look at the way Sevilla has gone about their Champions League. The previous round, they played against Real Betis. That was
they lost the first leg 2-0. At home. Went away and won.
So and look at the way they started. They lost the first leg, but they are still first half 3-0. So they just want to remain comfortable. And these are teams that have won the whole UEFA Cup before. So they have the pedigree. But Juventus still in that mix. Teams that drop off from the Champions League. Benfica drop off from the Champions League in the mix. So they just have to be careful of those two teams. Because they drop off in the Champions League, but they are still pulling their weight in the UEFA Europa League.
All right, let me just spend a few minutes to read your comments on Twitter before we change and then bring Femi Adefeso in to talk basketball with us. Great and mighty seeds. That's at Timor Banjo. Says, God help us with the rankings. He's talking about the FIFA rankings. He says, I don't believe in it. I don't know the criteria. Because you don't know the criteria doesn't make you believe in it. But FIFA will tell you the criteria. If you go to the FIFA website, you will find out how those coefficients are calculated and how they arrive at the point. So you can go to the FIFA website and read more about it. Ewekoro Osarobo Prince, he says, can we show highlights of the game between the Flying Eagles and Morocco? No, we don't have it. We don't have the rights to it, and we don't have it. I've not seen the highlights anywhere. And tomorrow, that reminds us, the Flying Eagles will be playing the second friendly against Morocco. And it will kick off 4 p.m. Nigerian time. So we'll find out exactly how the Flying Eagles will react after playing the 2-0 draw in the first game. And the good news, Kelechi Iheanacho, Nwakali, and a few of the other big boys have now joined. Big boys playing in Europe. have now joined the Flying Eagles camp, and they should be available for tomorrow's game against Morocco. Basan Yakabiru Tunde is asking a question and is directed this question to the LMC. He says, how long do we take to decide on what happened in the game between Bayelsa and El Kanemi? He says, today is Thursday. Let us know. Just say yes or no. That's what Basan Yatunde is saying. And Fred Alabi says it takes like a year for teams' performance to reflect in the FIFA rankings. He's talking about the rankings, and he says Egypt and Cape Verde are still in the top 10. They were out of the top 10 at some point, but they are back in the top 10. How did they make it there? I don't know.
Only FIFA can say so.
Only FIFA can tell us.
But if you go to the coefficient, you will see why that. Because it doesn't guarantee, because if you win a game, it depends on the kind of opposition you play, the confederation, and even the game itself. Is it within the FIFA window?
Yeah.
Is it within the
and who are you playing?
Who are you playing? So a lot of factors, and it doesn't guarantee that even if we win the World Cup today, it doesn't make Nigeria world number one.
Well, let me take this last one before we go on a break. Kelvin the Jiggy Man at the Jiggy Man says, I don't see Atletico Madrid winning this season's UEFA Champions League. Just as Nadia says, he says it is between Real Madrid and Bayern. But he's a Chelsea fan, so he's praying that Chelsea should win it. For me, I think any of those 4 teams left in the race can win it. That's my opinion. Any of those 4 teams left can win it. We need to go on a quick break now. Don't know that. I must thank you for your time. We need to go on a quick break. We'll bring you highlights from the NBA, the game between Nets and Miami Heat. And then when we return, Femi is here, extra loaded tonight to tell us all that we need to know around basketball. Join us again.
Livingston pops it out. Here's Williams. Plumlee. Nice pass. Beautifully done as Plumlee to the cutting Livingston.
That's where Brooklyn has gotten so tired. They were tired at the end of the night, their arms.
Well, in the Knicks case, that counts for the foul. Paul Pierce with a strong.
He goes, listen, we're going to play everybody here in the third quarter, and then if I find a group that's playing very well, I'll...